Sam Davis.
Maybe.
You'd be like, hello, my name is Sam Davis.
No, yeah, he's fine.
That's fine? Okay.
I was just seeing where, okay, go ahead.
You gonna stay?
No,
Or you
why?
leaving? Okay. How has North Mississippi Rural Legal Services impacted your life?
Oh my goodness. Well, it really started when I was in law school here back in the late 1960s. And the law school started a new clinic. It was the very first clinic we ever had called Legal Problems of Indigence. And I was in that first group. And it was an academic course, really like a seminar. We met once a week. And we were expected to spend 20 hours a week working in the North Mississippi Rural Legal Services office. So from a very early stage in my life and my career, it had an impact on my life because I got to interview clients as they came in, indigent clients with different kinds of legal problems, and those cases would be farmed out to local attorneys if they needed any kind of legal action or a document to be prepared. And so I got to meet them and appreciate the problems that people had and, who couldn't afford attorneys. And so that's how it began. And then later, when I came back to the law school in the late 1990s as dean of the law school, I ended up serving on the board of North Mississippi Rural Legal Services and served on the board really until even after I stepped down as dean in 2010. I think I rolled off the board in about 2014 maybe. So I got to see the impact that the clinic was having on, or the program was having on lives of people there as well.
If it had not been for legal services, where do you think you would have ended up?
Wow, well, probably the same place I did anyway. I was interested in teaching, and so I went from here to University of Virginia Law School, got a graduate law degree, and went into teaching. And so one of the courses I've always taught is a problem called Children in the Legal System, which deals with how the law relates to children. And being involved with North Mississippi Rural Legal Services, I think, influenced me to go into that. And if I hadn't been involved in North Mississippi Rural Legal Services, I might have gone into some other area of the law. I remember one of my classmates saying, after we had been in the clinic for a while, gosh, I'm really tired of dealing with problems of poor people. Why can't we deal with problems of rich people? And I said, we already do that. That course is called tax. So I might have been a tax lawyer or a tax professor if it hadn't been for my experience with North Mississippi Rural Legal Services.
Do you remember any great stories about the people you've worked with in the legal system?
Oh, well, there were lots of people that came in. To the clinic, we would conduct interviews, and one in particular that I remember, and for a strange reason, is a person who was in Mississippi, but she was from Ypsilanti, Michigan. I'd never heard of that town, and it just struck me as such an odd name, and for that reason, maybe I've always remembered it. But her problem was one of support. She and her husband had gotten divorced, and he had moved off to, I think he was then in Michigan. She was living in Mississippi, and she was trying to obtain support. And there was a way to get interstate support. And we would fill out the documentation here, and it would go up there to the local DA's office, and then they would pursue collection of support up there. But that's one case I remember, as I say, for an odd reason, just the name of the town she was from.
If you had not worked for the Rural Legal Services, what aspect of your work would you be most proud of?
Oh, that's hard to say. I don't know. I haven't really thought about that. I don't guess I really have an answer for that.
What difficulties did you encounter that legal workers in the establishment bar did not have to contend with, if any?
Well, there were some, as I said earlier, we farmed these cases out, any case that needed a lawyer to go into court or prepare a legal document. And there were only certain lawyers in Oxford who had agreed to take these cases. I don't know how many there were, but it just struck me that, thank goodness for these lawyers who agreed to help. And I thought at the time, why didn't more lawyers sign up for the program than we had? I think we had enough lawyers to manage the caseload, but it just struck me as odd that there weren't more attorneys who signed up to do that.
Well, that's all I have for you.
Okay, well, thank you very much.